Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. They'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived.
It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived. All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Josh, First Contact Radio. How you doing today? Let's jump into things here. Today is the 28th. 28th we have... Oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong year, aren't I? Let's go back here. Let's get the right year. Oh, we got some problems here. Okay, so we've got the, like yesterday, the sun in Gemini, and the moon is also in Gemini. Can't see what the aspects are here because the page is not working properly. But our numerology today, we're just going to move forward. Numerology for today is the number 4. 4 we know as the number of order. It relates to the tarot card of the Emperor. And let me show you how we got to that. Okay, here's how we arrived at that result. We have the 5 plus the 2 plus the 8 plus the 2 plus 1, 4. That's 5 plus 10 plus 7. Or 5 plus 1 plus 0 plus 7. And that would be a 13, and 1 plus 3 is 4. So today is 4. So if we go back and we look at some of the words associated with the number 4, what we have here is order, discipline, strong, stable, pragmatic, down to earth. And then the opposite side is unorganized, lack of imagination, so on. This is Aries. And here's the card that we have relating to that right here, the Emperor. Okay? He who sets in order, the Hebrew letter He, he who sets in order. So if we go look at our chart here to see where we're at today, what we have is, what we have right here is the 4, the Emperor, right here. Coming from what we've learned, wisdom down to beauty. And then we have the Gemini on the other side. So we got a little V for victory going on here today between our numerology and our planetary aspects. Current moon phase, we're at a new moon today. If it wants to show it. There we go. We don't see anything there. There we go. New moon. New moon is what is happening today. New beginnings, new starts. Time to set things in order. This sky today, we don't have a graphic for it, but it says, what is the oldest thing you've ever seen? The Earth, Sun, Moon, and planets are 4.6 billion years old. The age record for people who just glance at the sky might be Arcturus, about 7 billion years old. But with a pair of binoculars, you can pick up the 7.2 magnitude star HD 140283 in Libra. Okay, so here we have for today our Mayan Oracle. Is a two-tone day. We're on a new wave spell, which we started yesterday, which is the theme of the first one, which is purification, the moon. The dog is the symbol for today, or the kin. Dog's about heart, love, loyalty. Above this we have the wind, which is the inspiration, or the guide for today. Wind is all about the inspiration comes from the whispering wind, blows through life. We have our theme, which is our like-minded energy today. Our challenge for today is enlightenment, and our hidden power is the monkey, which is all about playfulness, seeing through illusion. The phrase for today is I polarize, in order to love, stabilizing loyalty. I seal the process of heart with the lunar tone of challenge. I am guided by the power of spirit. And if we look over at the Zolkin, we see where we're at right here. And we could see that this, just like this across here, is the same. So this is where we're at. That's why it's a galactic activation portal. And we go over to our space weather. Solar winds currently at 331.1 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is in the quiet range between a 1 and a 2. M-class flare possibilities now down to 15. It was 20 yesterday. Now we're down to 15. And it's dropping further down to 10 tomorrow. And mid-latitude geomagnetic storm activity is very, very low. High altitude or latitude is pretty low as well, but we could see that there's an increase coming in the next 24 to 48 hours. So there is some kind of activity taking place up there. And over on the Jewish calendar, today we are at 28 Lyre, Omar day 43. Tonight that count goes to 44. Just a little more insight on today. Just click on the link there, and daily study would be Psalms chapter 135 through 139. The thought today is talking to himself. He talks with himself, entertained by his own thoughts. The thoughts imply a background, which is the world, but the Torah, these are the thoughts themselves, and we are the self with whom he speaks. Alright, so there's some good food for thought right there as we move forth into the day. UFO news is up. Let's get to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
Alright, Dirk, thank you very much. What we've got going on here, our first story is a story dealing with Fresno, California. Interesting video of a strange, bright, unidentified flying object hovering the night sky above Fresno. This was taken at the beginning of the month on the 3rd of May. Seems like such a long time ago, doesn't it? Considering that we're almost into June. There we go. Nice, bright, white object. You could see as it close in, it looks like this. Okay. Alright, of course, with all these videos, once you enlarge them, you can see it much better. There you go. I got a little better resolution coming in here. Definitely not a plane. Okay. Let's move on from here to our next sighting. And this one, alright, seems to have some stickiness here. Here we go. This is over Lincolnwood, Illinois, May 26th. Another black spot in the sky. We've seen many of these. Chilling on a patio and zero gravity chair, I observed the fast moving object in the sky. Could be a bird, but it moves pretty fast for one. I watched the video many times. I do not have any programs to enhance the image. I cannot tell what it is. You can see it moving. It's right here. Just kind of moving through the clouds. Got to kind of. Okay, here we go, right over here. Interesting, kind of zigzags a little bit. Alright, moving on from there. Next, here we have residents witness mysterious lights over different parts of Hawaii. Around 40 photos were featured on Hawaii News now, along with witness accounts of the mysterious lights in the sky, which described as super bright and zigzag lights. These lights were captured from different parts of Hawaii, especially Lanai, Maui, and Kahu. Some witnesses don't believe that these lights are meteors or flares. They think that these are space UFOs. A Hawaii-based news station reports the police and the U.S. Navy have knowledge about the incident, but they have yet to provide official explanation as to what may have caused the event. Major Rutledge North America Aerospace Defense Command told in a television interview that they observed nothing unusual, and that mysterious event was observed in different parts of the states. Some residents also think the event has something to do with the scheduled launching of a test missile this week. One resident told a news station that she saw the missile go up around the same time when the lights were spotted. Okay, so very interesting. I'm sure we'll hear more about this as time goes on. Okay, let's move on to the next story. Alright, next story here takes us to what is called the Battle of Mons. Have you heard of this one? Well, if you haven't, you're about to. The battle in the field of Mons River is a popular British legend. The Battle of Mons was a story of angels who fought alongside British forces against the Germans. Could the helping hand be from God or from something else like aliens? Europe's defense against the Germans might seem to be too dire. With new hope lie in the British Expeditionary Force, BEF, is a major force of just 80,000 strong. However, they must face an advancing German army over 750 men. The Battle of Mons in Belgium has already begun and lasted for days. Then, the mighty German army of over 750,000 charged in a solid block to attack. But miraculously, the British force was able to defend and even turned the tides of the battle. The Germans suffered heavy losses for no ground gained, yet still some 1,600 brave souls from the British force were lost for that day. But the victory was swathed with controversy. Many soldiers credited strange apparitions were helping them fight the mighty Germans. In Harold Birkby's book, he quoted a Lance Corporal testifying that he had seen 3 strange bright lights which can be distinctly seen in the battlefield. The center figure had something on its back like spread out wings. The other 2 were smaller figures. They all appear to wear a golden cloak hanging loosely along their side, said the enormous corporal. Brigadier General John Chartels wrote a letter about the story too. The origin of the story remains unknown, but some skeptics said that the story had some government purpose in motivating the army, making the soldiers believe that God is on the British side. Even today, the legend is still wrapped in controversy. Some say that the force that invented the Battle of Mons was not the divine rights of extraterrestrials, was not of divine origin, but extraterrestrials. The intervening force which led to British victory in the Mons River was from aliens, said UFO researcher Kevin Goodman. A UK UFO expert said the UFO paradox was still not known. During the First World War, soldiers could have interpreted the sightings to be something sacred. Fighting a war and seeing death could have led them to think that the objects were signs from the heavens. The legend is still present today in British history and probably would still be unpopular in the future. Alien or God, the miraculous victory on the battlefield of Mons is still immortal to the British people. Okay, that's a pretty cool story. Now we're going to jump up to Mars here. Mars, this is from UFO Digest, says the most fascinating fact, Mars is the human site of mind. Studying NASA's photos from planet Mars taken by robotic rovers, Spirit, Opportunity, and Curiosity reveals endless anomalies. Viewing them is becoming more popular as it attracts fast-growing public interest and produces discussions in various websites and net communities. With thousands of strange anomalous objects pointed out by the many people on record, it may deserve public attention and serious consideration. Unfortunately, it's a fact that NASA shows us poor resolution photos. In addition to that, many respected researchers express publicly their suspicions that some images are being blurred intentionally before the public release. In spite of that, countless quality catches of anomalies are clear as sunrise and can easily be identified as deteriorating artifacts and are remains of different formations of past life, including what appears to be bones, shells, corals, and a wide variety of fossils. It's my personal view that categorizing these anomalous objects as rocks means nothing less than being in a state of total denial. So in reverse, it turns out that the most fascinating fact of Mars is the human state of mind. As rover Curiosity keeps taking more photos every day, more anomalies pile up into the fantastic Martian photo album. and the story unfolds to the researcher, it may not be a pretty story. Some find it frightening. So is it real, or is it just an ordinary rock? Well, let's take a look at some of the recent anomaly finds in the official NASA photos by the rovers Curiosity and Spirit from Mars and see for ourselves. All right, now we've seen a number of these pictures before where we just see these images that just don't seem to be something that is, like a rock or whatever. They seem to have a little bit more shape to them, like this one was like the skull. We've seen things up there that look like creatures. Here's one that definitely looks like a skull with definitely two eyes here. We've seen buildings. And you remember that one where we saw the image that was like a big mobile home? I don't know who was driving that up there, but it wasn't one of ours. Alright, I'm going to move from Mars to a story that has to deal with alien abductions, but more about what is done to help those who have gone through the abduction scenario. Okay, therapeutic ideas for coping with alien abductions. John Carpenter obtained a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology from DePaul University, Greencastle, Indiana, and a master's degree in social work from Washington University, St. Louis, Missouri. He had advanced training in clinical hypnosis in order to practice as a psychiatric therapist and hypnotherapist in Branson, Missouri. For over 32 years, he has counseled people in southwest Missouri for every kind of emotional problem imaginable. His lifelong curiosity in UFOs led to his volunteering his services for over 150 cases of possible UFO abduction. Using clever interviewing and thought hypnotic investigation, he has collected many patterns of data which clearly depict a consistent and coherent scenario of extraterrestrial contact. He presented 6 papers at a prestigious MIT Abduction Study Conference in Boston in 1992. He published papers have brought him international recognition and speaking invitations on 5 continents. He has presented at conferences from Australia to England, on national and international radio, television, and film documentaries. He has created and produced 10 research DVDs since 1996. Mr. Carpenter also serves as MUFON's Director of Abduction Research from 1991 until 2000 and is founding member of JAR, which stands for the Journal for Abduction and Counter Research. John Carpenter is currently writing a book titled Invaded: Human Contact with Non-Human Beings and is available for presentations worldwide. This article is published with the express written permission to AJ for publication in UFO Digest. Alright, so we have a good lengthy article here. It says, as hypnotherapists working with many fine people who find themselves recalling abduction experience, it would seem helpful to share several of the techniques that are helping people better to cope. Although not frequently stated, it should also be noted that a number of people are aware of abduction experiences who feel neither a strong need to pursue further information nor any sense of trauma which would require therapeutic relief. These people have privately found ways to cope on their own and have been able to work through any sort of victimization. Everybody copes a little differently. Not everyone needs to uncover details to feel okay and move forward. Many of these folks do not get referred for help. We hear from those who are sleepless, confused, hurting, and needing relief. It is important to remind the readers of this so that it will not be assumed that all participants in this phenomenon require the following suggestions. We must respect each person's abilities for coping and assist each in finding a comfortable pace in which to deal with these bizarre matters. As researchers, we must remember that any eagerness for data is secondary to the necessary adjustment and healing in each human life. If a participant in the phenomena decides to only have a session once every 6 months, then their request is upheld with great respect. Any need for more data from the researcher's perspective must simply wait. For some researchers, the notion that the lab rat can call the shots will indeed be frustrating. Let us remember that our fellow human beings are asking for help. Their emotional needs shall affect our course of action until their satisfaction is met. In the excitement over fascinating data, this can truly and easily be forgotten. The process of coping is a long journey with many highs and lows emotionally. The initial clinical picture is descriptive of post-traumatic stress disorder, insomnia, anxiety, phobic or paranoid responses to seemingly harmless environmental cues, hypervigilance, irritability, nightmares, and flashbacks. Many feel that they must be going crazy and are fearful of letting anyone know, let alone have a professional validation to support their supposed insanity. Others say that they would actually prefer a psychiatric diagnosis because there and then they could be prescribed a treatment and a great livelihood for relief. Assuming for the moment that there was no psychiatric causes for the feelings, these individuals simply need a sensitive, caring, open-minded person with whom to share their crazy thoughts, which have a persistent nagging quality to them. Unloading these peculiar feelings in an atmosphere of acceptance is essential. Just listen. It is best not to have a theory on any speculative explanation. Ready, they must decide for themselves and believe. Feeding them information from outside of their experiments may color, distort, or confuse the efforts to process, understand, and cope effectively. Many people have told me that they have held in many of their feelings and unnerving memories for years because they simply did not know whom they could trust not to laugh at them. In a number of families, it has become a family secret that nobody would share with each other until perhaps years later. The final decision for when or if to use hypnotic regression for periods of missing time related to UFO events must remain with the client. Hypnosis is the most effective when the abductee is ready and wants to proceed. Often another family member, friend, or even researcher pushes for hypnosis and is often too soon and too frightening. Yet for this professional and personal intrusion, blocking denial may occur, misleading others to believe that no experience actually occurred. Greater anxiety may develop as such a premature push creates unexpected conflict or tension within their emotions. The hypnotherapist needs to assert some professional caution to those who view hypnosis as a magic doorway to all answers and are overly eager to explore any and all peculiar dreams or potentially unrelated but similar events in their lives. The sessions could be ripe for confabulatory data to occur, especially if there are no clinical symptoms such as anxiety or insomnia to resolve the individual, and the individual simply curious and eager for some kind of answers. The hypnotherapist must help the client understand these cautions and facilitate wise decisions based on the considerations of each case. For example, a stranger called me last week claiming that he had an odd dream and wanted to schedule hypnosis with me to find out what it meant. This is clearly when an education is needed regarding the need and the use for hypnosis. All right, there's more to the article, or actually the article continues in a part 2. Perhaps I'll bring that up tomorrow. But there are a number of individuals having these experiences, and we need to take them serious. We need to understand what they are and why they are experiencing them so we can provide a sense of relief. It'd be nice when we get to the point in the world where people aren't laughing when others describe these kind of experiences because they're very real. In some ways, when you think of the human race, there's a part of this race which seems to really be evolved, but then there's a part that really is very, primitive and skeptical. And you would think that after all of this time here, we would have moved past a point of skepticism about the things that we do, and we'd learn to see things a bit more clearly, but unfortunately that doesn't seem to be the case, does it? That is our UFO news. I'm going to jump away. I'll be back. We've got a few stories, and then you're going to get right back into the Book of Urantia.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Continue on. This next story has to do with something that was found recently, a 4,000-year-old pagan figurine is what it said. Here's what it looks like. It says Nikolai Tarasov pulls Bronze Age artifact carved in bone and is said to be worth more than its weight in gold from the Siberian River. It's a very interesting looking object there. Doesn't look very happy, does it? A fisherman dragging a net through a river in Siberia thought he had snagged a rock. Instead, he had snared what experts believe is a 4,000-year-old pagan god figurine. Nikolai Tarasov, 53, considered throwing the 12-inch statuette back until he wiped away the muck and saw a ferocious-looking face had been carved into the artifact. You see how large this is. There's a pencil right next to it. I pulled it out by getting my pal to help. I was going to chuck it away, he told the Siberian Times, but then I stopped when I saw a stone with a face. I washed the thing in the river and realized it was a statuette. On the back of the figurine, snagged in the community of Tisol, was what looked like hair carved behind the head. Tarasov was told that the relic could be worth its weight in gold, but decided to donate his rare catch to a local museum free of charge. Experts there quite literally jumped for joy, and quite high, he said. It was later determined with the help of experts that the statuette has been carved in horn, probably from the Bronze Age. Marina Banchkova, director of the Tishul History Museum, said experts are still studying the relic, but are reasonably sure that the figurine represents a pagan god and belonged to the Okanuv or Samus culture. Okay, very interesting. Interesting indeed. Doesn't look very happy though, whatever this is. Alright, here we have wormholes. Skinny wormholes could send messages through time. Like some bizarre form of optical fiber, a long, thin wormhole might let you send messages through time using pulses of light. Predicted by Einstein's general theory of relativity, wormholes are tunnels connecting 2 points in space-time. If someone could traverse one, it could open an intriguing possibility such as time travel and instant communication. But there's a problem. Einstein's wormholes are notoriously unstable, and they don't stay open for long enough to get anything true. In 1988, Kip Thorne of the California Institute of Technology and his colleagues speculated that wormholes could be kept open using a form of negative energy called Casimir energy. Quantum mechanics tells us that the vacuum of space-time is teeming with random quantum fluctuations which create waves of energy. Now imagine two metal plates sitting parallel in a vacuum. Some energy waves are too big to fit between the plates, so the amount of energy between the mass is less than the surrounding them. In other words, space-time between the plates has negative energy. Alright, I'm going to leave the rest of the article for you to read. I'm going to continue on. And let's just jump right back into the Book of Urantia, shall we? There's a lot of material there for us to get to, and let's get to it. So we're going to continue on with the section of science for today. Astronomy. Yesterday we were looking at the overall picture of the master universe. Okay, so today, alright, so we're talking about space respiration, the breathing in and out of the universe, the cycles that it takes, and the distortions that we perhaps have is because of the nature that the universe is breathing. Okay, Paradise Havona system. General description. A paradise at the center of the universe of universes is the most gigantic body in the master universe, a worthy capital of the universe of universes. Paradise is the eternal center of the universe of universe. Paradise is the abiding place of the universal Father, eternal Son, infinite Spirit, and the divine coordinates and associates. And paradise is the most gigantic organized body of cosmic reality in all the master universe. The glory and the spiritual splendor of the divine abode are impossible of mortal comprehension. And paradise is from eternity. There are neither records nor traditions respecting the origins of this nuclear isle of light and life. Its shape and dimension is elliptical and flat. In form, paradise differs from the inhabited space bodies. It is not spherical. It is definitely ellipsoid, being 1/6 in the north-south diameter than in the east-west diameter. The central isle is essentially flat, and the distance from the upper surfaces to the nether surface is 1/10 that of the east-west diameter. In composition, stationary, unique, composed of absolutum. The eternal isle is composed of a single form of materialization, stationary systems of reality. This literal substance of paradise is a homogeneous organization of space potency, not to be found elsewhere in all the wide universe of universe. It has received many names in different universes, and the Melchizedeks of Nebadon long since named it absolutum. This paradise source material is neither dead nor alive. It is the original, non-spiritual expression of the first source and center. It is paradise, and paradise is without duplicate. In relation to us, that the first source and center has concentrated all absolute potential for cosmic reality in paradise as a part of this technique of self-liberation from infinite liberations, as a means of making possible sub-infinite, even time-space creation. But it does not follow that paradise is time-space limited just because the universe of universes discloses these qualities. Paradise exists without time and has no location in space. Roughly, space seemingly originates just below nether paradise, time just above upper paradise. Time, as you understand it, is not a feature of paradise existence, though the citizens of the central isle are fully conscious of non-time sequence of events. Motion is not inherent on paradise. It is volitional, but the concept of distance, even absolute distance, has very much meaning as is applied to relative locations on paradise. Paradise is non-spatial, hence its areas are absolute and therefore serviceable in many ways beyond the concepts of mortal mind. The geographical dimensions: we have the upper paradise, says the central area, deity presence, the most holy sphere, the immediate surrounding deity presence for worship, trinitization, and high spiritual attainment. 3, the outer region or holy area. There are 7 concentric circles called residential regions. Peripheral paradise is the landing and the dispatching fields, force focal headquarters of the 7 master spirits, and the historic and the prophetic exhibits of creator sons. And the nether paradise, the central unknown and unrevealed zone of infinity. The unnamed area is immediately surrounding the zone of infinity, and the outer margin consisting of 3 concentric elliptical zones concerned with space potency and force energy. There we have the inner zone, which functions as a gigantic heart whose pulsations direct and modify force energies. We have the mid-zone, which is pulsing control mechanism of mid-space or quiet zones, related to non-pervaded space mechanism of the master universe. And then the outer zone, central focalization of the space presence of the unqualified absolute, central circuit point of emanations which proceeds spaceward in synchronicity with space respiration. Space conditions and motions surrounding paradise. From the periphery of paradise to the inner borders of the 7 super-universes, there are the following 7 space conditions and motions. 1. The quiescent mid-space zones impinging on paradise. 2. The clockwise precessional of the 3 paradise and 7 Havonal circuits. 3. The sub-quiet space zone separating the Havona circuits from the dark gravity bodies of the central universe. 4. The inner counterclockwise moving belt of the dark gravity bodies. 5. The second unique belt zone dividing the 2 space paths of the dark gravity bodies. 6. The outer belt of the dark gravity bodies revolving clockwise around paradise. And 7. A third space zone, a subquiet zone separating the outer belt of dark gravity bodies from the innermost circuits of the 7 super-universes. And we get to Havona. Havona, the eternal central universe consisting of 1 billion worlds. Havona, the central universe, is not a time creation. It is an eternal existence. This never-beginning, never-ending universe consists of 1 billion spheres of sublime perfection and is surrounded by the enormous dark gravity bodies. At the center of Havana is the stationary and absolutely stabilized Isle of Paradise, surrounded by its 21 satellites. Owing to the enormous encircling masses of the dark gravity bodies about the fringe of the central universe, the mass content of the central creation is far in excess of the total mass of all 7 sectors of the grand universe. The arrangement, 7 concentric circles not superimposed. The billion worlds of Havona are arranged in 7 concentric circuits immediately surrounding the 3 circuits of the Paradise satellites. There are upwards of 35 million worlds in the innermost Havana circuit and over 245 million in the outermost, with proportionate numbers intervening. Each circuit differs, but all are perfectly balanced and exquisitely organized, and each is pervaded by the specialized representation of the infinite spirit. One of the 7 spirits of the circuits, in addition to other functions, this impersonal spirit coordinates the conduct of celestial affairs throughout each circuit. The Havana planetary circuits are not superimposed. Their words follow each other in orderly linear procession. The central universe whirls about stationary Isle of Paradise in one vast plane consisting of 10 concentric stabilized units, the 3 circuits of Paradise spheres and the 7 circuits of the Havana worlds. Physically regarded, the Havana and the Paradise circuits are all one and the same. Their separation is a recognition of functional and administrative segregation. Time on Havona. The Paradise Havona Standard Day. 1 day equals 1,000 years on Urantia time. Time is not reckoned on Paradise. The sequence of successive events is inherent in the concept of those who are indigenous to the Central Isle, but time is germane to the Havona circuits and to numerous beings of both celestial and terrestrial origin surrounding thereon. Each Havona world has its own local time determined by its circuit. All worlds in a given circuit have the same length of year, since they uniformly swing around Paradise, and the length of these planetary years decreases from the outermost to the innermost circuit. Besides Havana circuit time, there is the Paradise Havona Standard Day and other time designations which are determined on and are sent out from the 7 Paradise satellites of the Infinite Spirit. The Paradise Havana Standard Day is based on the length of time required for the planetary abodes of the first or the inner Havana circuit to complete 1 revolution around the Isle of Paradise. And though the velocity is enormous owing to the situation between the dark gravity bodies and the gigantic Paradise, it requires almost 1,000 years for these spheres to complete their circuit. You have unwittingly read the truth when your eyes rested on the statement, "A day is as 1,000 years with God, but as a watch in the night." As but a watch in the night, 1 Paradise Havana day is just 7 minutes, 3 1/8 seconds less than 1,000 years of the present Urantia leap year calendar. The Paradise Havana day is the standard time measurement of the 7 superuniverses, although each maintains its own internal time standards. And then, of course, the dark gravity bodies. On the outskirts of this vast central universe, far out beyond the 7th belt of Havona worlds, there swirl an unbelievable number of enormous dark gravity bodies. These are multitudinous dark masses of quite unlike other space bodies in many particulars. Even in form, they are very different. These dark gravity bodies neither reflect nor absorb light. They are non-reactive to physical energy light, and they are so completely encircled and enshrouded Havona as to hide it from view of even nearby inhabited universes of time and space. The great belt of dark gravity bodies is divided into 2 equal elliptical circuits by unique space intrusion. The inner belt revolves counterclockwise, the outer revolves clockwise. These alternate directions of motion, coupled with the extraordinary mass of dark bodies, so effectively equalize the lines of Havona gravity as to render the central universe a physically balanced and perfectly stabilized creation. The inner procession of dark bodies is tabular in arrangement, consisting of 3 circular groups. A cross-section of this circuit would inhabit the 3 concentric circles of equal density. The outer circuit of dark gravity bodies is arranged perpendicular, being 10,000 times higher than the inner circuit. The up and down diameter of the inner circuit is 50,000 times that of the transverse diameter. The intervening space which exists between these 2 circuits of gravity bodies is unique in that nothing like it is to be found elsewhere in all the wide universe. This zone is characterized by enormous wave movements of an up and down nature, and is permeated by tremendous energy activities of an unknown order. In our opinion, nothing like the dark gravity bodies of the central universe will characterize the future evolution of the outer space levels. We regard these alternate progressions of stupendous gravity balancing bodies as unique in the master universe. Okay, we're going to stop right there because this next section is a big chunk, but quite interesting. So we've got the Havona seems to be the name for this whole region, and right in the center of it we've got this plain, which is called the Paradise Isle, which it describes as a flat plane as opposed to being a round type of planet. And it's described as not only just flat but also elliptical, and then it describes all these outer worlds around it that are all revolving around it. And some of the revolutions, it seems, are clockwise, some are counterclockwise, and that ripples of energy seem to move out from this region, and that the inner region, this Isle of Paradise, is a place of no time, whereas above it you have the upper, and then below it the nether paradise. Things change, so it seems that there's this enclosed area of paradise where everything is timeless, and outside it time begins to present itself, and that each different world has a different way of measuring time, but they're all in actuality moving according to a similar time structure, because as it talks about the 1,000 years that it takes in a circuit, and we see in the Bible it talks about the 1,000 years. One day of God is like 1,000 years for us. So very interesting indeed. And from there we spread out to the 7 super universes, of which we'll continue with next time, because that's where we start to come into play as we start getting to our world, the area of Nebadon, and then even more into Urantia. Alright, it's a lot of material. It's a lot of heavy duty material, and good stuff to learn. Certainly seems like it is. Alright, let's move on from there. This next piece here, this is another article from In5D. The link for In5D is at the First Contact website on the right hand side. You'll see it. You just scroll down to the section of alternate sites, news sites. And today, this article is called 33 Keys to Spiritual Mastery. Alright, this is from Michelle Walling. Spiritual mastery is the recognition that energy comes from one creator source and will return to this source after the experience of separation ends. As we traveled away from the source to experience breadcrumbs of remembrance in the form of keys, we're dropping along the path so that we could find our way back. Part of the experience of returning involves choosing to exist in dense physicality, and mastery of this human experience can be compared to learning how to successfully walk across hot coals. In ancient times, the initiation path involved trekking across the land to sacred sites, transmuting fear along the way with challenges of ascending magnitude. Today, our initiation challenge comes from living in a dominated and a controlled society on a sick planet, creating a reality that seems almost impossible to change. Having the experience from prior lifetimes of mastery prepared us for this lifetime with the goal of raising consciousness to unity in high vibration, which is the key to returning to the source. Initiates were supported by those who held on to techniques and rituals through history. This esoteric knowledge was held secretly by priests and priestesses, Essenes, Knights Templar, and Freemasons, and was divulged only once on a certain level of fear transmutation and responsibility was attained. Sometimes the initiate failed the test and died in the physical, having to reincarnate to try again. Successive reincarnations added cumulative karma to the mix, which required added difficulties and contracts each incarnation in order to achieve balance. The first initiations involved mastery of thought. The end goal was making the connection to source and tapping into the infinite wisdom. The benefits of achieving mastery included living for hundreds of years with the ability to serve by teaching others. Just like today, more and more masters were successful in adding to the number of masters that walked the earth, one person at a time. Mastery of self-activated the 10 extra strands of etheric DNA that overlays the 2 physical strands and opened the door to living in full consciousness. Such power of living in the I Am presence requires responsibility that had to be proven because of the misuse of power that created the fallen Atlantis. The resurrection of human sovereignty could only occur from within humanity's own actions because of the rules of free will on the planet Earth. Life happens in cycles upon cycles and can be measured by the stars. Those who watched the stars knew a golden opportunity to return to the path would occur at this time. Thousands of years in planning came down to awakening in this lifetime to what we came here to do. We came here to raise our vibration and consciousness in alignment with the planet and our creative source, which will activate our dormant strands of DNA in the etheric to allow us to experience life in joy, peace, and unconditional love. So these are the 33 keys. It says, practice these 33 keys to spiritual mastery to unlock the door to consciousness. 1. The key to awakening is timing. 2. The key is to meditation is grounding. 3. The key to the heart chakra is love. 4. The key to creation is geometry. 5. The key to raising your vibration is positive emotion. 6. The key to loving yourself, loving another is loving yourself. 7. The key to loving yourself is recognizing who you are. 8. The key to manifestation is thought. 9. The key to discernment is intuition. 10. The key to forgiveness is compassion. 11. The key to transmuting karma is intention and awareness. 12. The key to protection is prayer. 13. The key to faith is trust. 14. The key to joy is doing what you love. 15. The key to receiving is gratitude. 16. The key to grace is being the example. 17. The key to humility is wisdom. 18. The key to centering is oming. 19. The key to the throat chakra is truth. 20. The key to levitation is sound. 21. The key to confirmation is synchronicity. 22. The key to peace is the golden rule. 23. The key to standing in your own power is knowledge. 24. The key to the fountain of youth is perfected DNA template. 25. The key to our future is the now. 26. The key to the golden age is balance. 27. The key to all the universe, to all of the answers, lies within. 28. The key to universal travel is the human body in its divine perfection. 29. The key to the cosmos is oneness. 30. The key to oneness is non-judgment. 31. The key to unity is multidimensional collective consciousness. 32. The key to freedom is expansion. And 33. The key to spiritual mastery is simplicity. So these 33 keys are very helpful. And wouldn't it be nice if we just had a key ring where we could have all of these keys on here? When we get into a problem, we just pick the right key. Well, it's kind of what we do. Just have an imaginary key ring with these 33 keys on it. And when you come to a time when you need to unlock whatever it is that you need to lock, you just find the appropriate key. If you think about the number 33, it's very important because it's a time when all of the substances of life come together. Jesus was 33 when he was crucified. There's something very significant in that number. 3 itself is a number of creativity. If we have 2 3s together, it's a master number. That's creativity reflected against creativity, or birth of life, imagination, and so on. So check out these 33 keys. Get to know them, because this will really help you to understand what you need to do to get to the next step. And sometimes that's what we're looking for. How do I get to that next step? What do I do? What's the key? Well, here's 33 of them. Okay? So, good stuff indeed. The link's available to the story, First Contact Radio. Of course, you could find the whole thing at in5d.com. All right, now let's move from there to our message for today. Today, our message comes from the Pleiadians. So we will get to this momentarily here. Okay. Here we go.
The Pleiadians align and integrate with us.
May 21st, 2014, by Uriah Velasquez.
We come to speak to you today about the importance of living your life as the human, having a cosmic spiritual experience. We have loved you and been with you for lifetimes as you have incarnated here doing your work for Gaia. But, now more than ever, it is important that you integrate the cosmic consciousness as part of your natural way of being. Do not see us as beings outside of yourselves. See us as mere reflections of a beautiful connection to Source. We are waiting for you for the time when we shall actually live side by side in our forms as well. However, for those that don't experience us physically all the time, know that we are merely an extension of oneness with you. We have successfully integrated the DNA and transmissions for the fifth dimension consciousness, and you no longer need to seek advice from us, for we are one with you. You can tune into the aspects of yourself that are Pleiadian now and ask the questions. We have reignited your ancestry, and it is fully alive and awake. We are joyously celebrating that we did it. It is easier now for you to walk and talk, and act as your enlightened self. You see, even when you feel like you are not acting as your highest self, the light that you hold in the coding of your DNA and cellular structure still is always emanating out light. The light is limitless and unending. Those that have chosen to awaken the aspects of the Pleiadian lineage, are fully transmitting light even when triggering others, for the triggers are there to let other human souls see where they need to heal. Many ask, when will the whole world know you exist? When will it just be the norm to connect to you? And we say, the timing is up to you. It is based on the readiness of consciousness. We do not wish to create a wave of shock and pain. We wish to come in when there is receptivity. There is no rush. You are eternal beings and have all of eternity for your planet to begin to expose that there is more to this universe than the human existence. One of the keys to this exposure and receptivity readiness has to do with the people taking their power back from the larger organizations, that hide things and keep things cloaked for greed purposes. This is beginning to happen, as many release GMO supports, which takes the money away from the mass groups running the desire to keep the consciousness dim through toxins. There will be more that has to be released before we are received here in peace. One has to do with the people of Earth truly taking their power back in terms of resources and the use of oil. This is one of the other pieces that keeps greed and control running the planet, blocking the receptivity to our integration in a physical way. We have the knowledge, as many of you do, how using resources on planet Earth like hemp to fuel things. There is no need to be fighting over oil, of course. However, because certain groups are wishing to keep this away from mass consciousness's awareness, we would not be received in peace. As the people begin to reveal the truth more and more through the internet, you all will prevail in transforming the way this planet functions so it is aligned in the light. Yet, this message is important because we say, you can still feel aligned, and close to us, knowing now that we have completed the merge with you. When you speak to us, you speak to yourself. You are the Pleiadians. We exist in our own physical forms, but through all the connections to us, downloads, and healings, you are actually now walking as very much Pleiadian. It is a mixed heritage, but does not make you any less Pleiadian. Therefore, you have access to all the records, the cosmic records of all that was, and all that will be. Simply, summon the nature within yourself and ask questions. It is still fine to connect to those who can speak our words clearly, but know that you can do it too. It is more about hearing and sharing the different ways others express things now, and also for the continued growth of those that are still discovering. So for now, we truly impulse the radiance of light now into your hearts from our hearts, as we connect through a tunnel of light. This opening of total heart-to-heart connection has completed itself now, and it is easy to feel the love we send now. We love you, brothers, sisters, in this oneness. Sola Re En Lo.
Alright, that's a good message. You know, when you think about it, and you hear the term how we're fighting for oil, I mean, just imagine you go into a auto parts store. You stand there and you're looking at the aisle of all the oil. That's what we're fighting over. I mean, it's kind of silly when you put it in that perspective. Or you can go to the grocery store and there's all these oils there. You know, I know there's a different type of oils, but the automotive ones, the ones that run machines, I mean, it's kind of silly that that's what we're fighting over. Oil to keep the machines of the economy moving. Seems like there's something much better out there that we could do, don't you think? Alright, let's get to our meditation for today. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. One more deep breath. Alright, and exhale. Now imagine yourself walking down a hallway. And through that hallway you see a series of doors. And each one of the doors is closed. And when you try to open each one, it's locked. And as you look at each door, it has a different quality on the door. And as you count the number of doors, you count 33 of them. And you look down, and there on your belt you have hanging a key ring that has 33 keys on it. And so you begin to walk down this hallway, and you find that there is one key for each one of these doors. And each one of these doors represents something within yourself that needs to be unlocked. Whether it's the idea of oneness, or whether it's love, or whether it's compassion, or whatever it is, these 33 keys will help you to unlock all that you need to understand. So as you walk through life, imagine this key ring there, and when you have a problem, you just look for the key that deals with that particular situation, and you find out what you need to do. And pretty soon you find that there isn't a problem that you can't handle. There isn't a situation that you can't fix, because you understand that you have the ability and you have the keys. And so you walk through life feeling that you have a good understanding of what is going on, because as you are able to unlock each one of these doors with the keys of understanding, you find you expand in consciousness. You find your appreciation of life grows. And you find that the problems that once existed drift away. And as they drift away, you realize that those problems were only illusions. Something in your ways for you to learn from, so that you could move forward. So just imagine yourself walking down the path of life feeling good, feeling that you've learned and understood what life is showing you, and feeling that you are able to take all of this energy and bring it down into your physical existence, while at the same time remain connected to the spiritual connection that is available for all. So as we go through the world today, let your subconscious mind just contemplate these ideas. Contemplate these ideas of understanding and wisdom. And walk through life today knowing that you have these set of 33 keys available to you to unlock any challenge that comes your way. So let your subconscious mind continue on that journey. And let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Now go ahead and take another deep breath. Exhale and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's the show for today. Thank you very much for being here. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll have some more news and information for you. Tomorrow, I believe we're going to continue on with a study of Buddhism and the philosophy of the Buddha. So, I'll be back. Till then, have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.